Hi everybody, it's Halloween night and I decided to do a journey outside and I'm in the Yukon overlook out here. It's nice sometimes to be able to go out and do the journeys where you're in a beautiful area. Obviously right now we have snow up here. We've got a heavy snowfall warning tomorrow. We got more snow in October than we had in a very long time, like many years. We usually don't get snow at this level this early in the season. So that's kind of special. The idea, it's also a double moon this month, which we all know is a blue moon. And it's also on Halloween night. It's just starting to get dark here, and I wanted to start this journey as the moon rises, just to see what energies are attached to it and what spirit wants to share with everybody. Just going to take a couple of deep breaths in and out my mouth. One of the things we need to quiet our minds. Just allow yourself to breathe in and breathe out. And when you do that, you relax the mind, body, and soul and move. And I always like to visualize myself in an ocean and watch the ocean waves become calm. That is calming your mind. That's the intention when I do that, is to calm my mind so I can hear more clearly what the Spirit has to say. Because that's some of the things sometimes we forget. They're always wanting to talk to the Spirit realm, but then we close our mind and it's so friggin' loud, we're never going to hear anything. Because spirits talk in whispers. So we have to quiet ourselves in order to hear it. But that is part of the journey, it's part of the lesson, to be silent. I had a new guide that's come in my life, not a new one, it's been around for a long time, but I'm allowing it to come more to the forefront. And it's like a tarantula, so a guide. And like, I love spiders, I always have, but I don't like them beyond me. And it's kind of funny because she is on my shoulder and I can feel her on my shoulder, and she laughs about it because she knows it kind of makes me cringe a bit. But at the same time, after a while, you stop cringing and you allow the energy to be what it is. And that is part of life, to overcome the things that make you a little bit nervous. And I'm not afraid of spiders, but I don't like them to be on me. So in some way, I am a little bit afraid of spiders. But in some ways, that's probably why I have a guide that is like this. My other animal totem is a black bear. So I have a black bear and a tarantula as my totems. And again, animal guides can come in and out of your life, but your totems are there your whole life. Because they are the two main reasons why they were chosen when you came here, to guide you, and they can be more in the forefront or less, but they're always there, always behind you. And it's something special when you connect onto these totems, because and this is the first time in my life that the spider has really came to the forefront, and I'm open to it, allowing it to be. So I'm standing on a plateau, and I'm allowing the sun to rise. And the sun rises and then sets. So that whole day, anticipation of watching the sun go up and set throughout the whole day. But then night comes and everything completely changes. Do you ever notice how the scenes change at night? That the focus of the foreground is like the land itself is the focus. Sometimes the sky is, but most of the time it's the ground. When the moon comes, it's completely focused on the sky of the stars. And that's something that needs to be understood. When the full moon comes out, though, the focus now is spread between the sky and the ground. And it's like a balancing act. It's like when you have a beautiful sunny day with amazing clouds, and now the clouds and the actual foreground are equalized. And this is the same thing with a full moon. It becomes an equalization of the ground and the night sky. So it doesn't happen as often as it would during the day. And it's more special because it has to be clear in order for this to occur. And it also only happens over about a 5 or 6 day period where it becomes really evident that the foreground is lit up by the moon. So what is a full moon? What does it do? It's just simply a reflection of the sun off the surface of the moon. Or is there something else? Because there's so many times that the energy of the full moon does weird things. It has a major effect on the tides. It has a lot of things that is not quite understood. And it's simply just a reflection of the sunlight off the surface of the moon. And that's what some people just think. The full moon's just a reflection of the sun off the surface of the moon, and other people look at it differently. There's a lot of people that would worship the moon. So the moon itself has become a spiritual thing for many, many thousands of years. So what happens when people worship something? It creates energy. So now the moon, on the full moon, has more than simply just the surface of the sun reflecting off the surface. It is also the energy that has been put through into it for thousands and thousands of years that reflects back to us. So when we look up at a full moon, we're looking at our ancestors. We're looking at the development of the human race. And every other creature that has lived on this earth that's looked up to the moon, it reflects back to us every time we look at a full moon. It has special significance because of all those thousands and thousands and thousands and millions of years of evolution on this earth reflect back at us every single time we look at the full moon. So it is Halloween. It is the time where the barriers are the thinnest. So I ask the spirits to come forward to give a message to the world. I see the moon rising above the mountains, and it's like a gateway. And I look into that and I ask again, who wants to come forward to give a message to the world? There is a dark shadow that it covers the full moon. Spirit rises behind from the dark side, which we know is simply just, now is dark, but we know they get a full moon as well. In other words, the moon rotates, so it always gets sunlight on every part of the moon. So, looking at this creature coming and blocking out this like reflection of the sun, and coming over, and it's like a massive spider. And it's funny, I've been talking about this, but there's also a white spider on the bottom. And so the black spider comes over the top of the moon, and the white spider comes over from the bottom of the moon. And they touch. But if you're in space, there is no up or down. There's simply everywhere. There is no direction in a way. It's not like the Earth in that way. When you're in space, there is no really. There is a direction, but it's directionless in a lot of ways. There is no up or down. So when you're looking at the moon, and I look at these spiders, and it's like a bridge that gaps, like the moon itself is, these spiders are walking on this like light bridge, and they're walking from the moon into the earth. And then the moon starts to spin, and it creates like a spinning effect on the actual bridge, which is like, now looks more like a web. Because it spins, it becomes very twisted and very thin. And the moon keeps spinning, and it keeps twisting this cord, which once was a road. But the spiders don't stop, like they keep walking towards the earth, because they're masters at walking on very thin surfaces. And they're completely silent. Like, they're unbelievably quiet. And the way they walk, it's like there's no reason to talk. There's no squealing, no weird sounds. They are perfectly okay in total silence. And they love the silence. And I see as the two spiders, one goes to the north and one goes to the south of the actual earth. And they become part of the earth. And the cord is now focused right to where I am at. And now the spiders are standing in front of me. And they're sideways to me. So they're not up and down, they're sideways on this cord. And they walk to me, one to the left and one to the right. And now they're walking on top of me, around my head and on my shoulders. And they're connected by this web still. So there's a dark and light side to the spider. And this is all about lessons. Like when you get a spirit guide come to you, you can, it's like they choose what it is that you're meant to learn at this time. But there's an actual energy that you can work with. So what do you choose? The spiders merge together and the spider becomes white. But she told me there was a lot of part of my life that I was working with the shadow side of the spider. And I wasn't even aware of it. And now I'm moving into the light side of the spider. The lessons are different. The learning is different. The rewards are different. And she says to many people on earth, what part of the spider are you working with? The shadow side or the light side? And a lot of people would automatically say, oh, it's the light side. But she says, no, most people are still in the shadow. Because it's really hard to navigate through the shadows. And most people will not choose that in this lifetime. Very few people travel the shadows. They always want to be in the light. And she says that I chose to live a big portion of my life in the shadows side of myself to overcome that. And she was there the whole time, navigating through the chaos of that, the love of that, the mystery of that. Because the shadow isn't evil. The shadow is part of everything and everyone. But we're taught not to go into the shadows because that is where everything is hiding. That is where the truth is hiding. All our fears, anxieties, anger, frustration, cowardice, it all hides in the shadows. But it is also full of love, peace, and silence. You learn to balance the shadows, and then you learn to balance the light. That is what the spider represents in a person's life. So when the spider appears as white, you have conquered the shadow side of yourself. There is always learning. There's always shifting. But the main part is that the shadows will teach you silence. So your mind, your soul is at peace, is silent. Well, at least teaches us to quiet it down so we can be open to hearing the voices that whisper. This world is full of shadows that cry out, that are never heard. This night, there is a lot of shadows that are being set free. To walk the earth is not to be afraid. What it does is gives us an opportunity to remember. Because when you remember, you can set it free. So don't look at shadows as being something of evil to fear. When you remember something, it is time to let it go. Time to bring it into balance. And that is truly letting go. It is truly growing. It is truly powerful. Sukomanai nasa natirane noko namanahinea horayana santeyoko nasite manaku. One cannot be afraid of himself or herself. If one walks in the purpose of life, Tisonohi nakana. The night is upon us. Tikora Tudanino Manosoi Hayanasan Huki Namorain Nali Nasatori Naki Matorasa Nikurane. When you wake up from a nightmare, what was it that you were afraid of? They speak to us through our dreams to help us not to be afraid, but to grow and expand, to journey into the ideas that are told to us, that are meant for us to totally forget what it is that we're meant to do, what a true purpose is. Don't get lost in the understanding of what might is and what might be. Open yourself up to conquering the fears within your own heart. Life is a constant lesson of going into the light and into the dark. It's never just simply one or the other. But when you choose to go into the shadow part of yourself, it is a hard lesson. It is a difficult lesson. Or it is a lesson of love, or all of them. When you choose to go into the light, it is peaceful, breezy, light. But it also teaches us rewards, honor, love. We use the light and the shadows in order to remember, in order to transform the things that are lost. But the womb is silent. It is peaceful. It is wonderful. That's also what the night represents, what the shadow represents. But we forget that. We become afraid of the things that are healing, are peaceful. It's easy to forget that we come from a place that was the most peaceful place that we can remember. The most peaceful place in our existence as a human being is in the mother's womb, which is dark, which is peaceful, which is beautiful. So the journey into the shadows is also a journey into the love of that experience. Tosomani Horkaya Neana Tosinamono Santo. The only way that you can be set free if you're caught in the spider's web is she's let you go. Na nahi natan That is the light side of the spider. Whatever web you're in, it is time to be set free. She asks all of you, how many people are stuck? How many people are lost? How many people feel forgotten? No hope. She says that's why she is here, to help unravel the mess that we put ourselves into. If the world would allow the spider spirit to guide them, they will be finally set free from the web that we've created, the web that we are stuck in. Tosianano. But we are afraid. All we see is the dark side of the spider. But we don't see the creativity, the love, the silence, the beauty of what it is. No mani naso tasanekete. Some people will say that we don't worship guides. It has nothing to do with worship. It has everything to do with guiding, friendship, learning, growing, expanding. Peace, patience, love. Thank you very much, everyone. If you wish to do a journey with me, you can visit my website at amonrossawakening.com. You can go to my Northern Light pages at josephbeardleyauroras.com and hiddenauroraspirits.com. Nakanamaniana. I also have a special on my website if you wish to check it out. It's to meet your angel guides. It's around a reduced price, and I want to also move into about every 2 weeks. I'm going to replace it with something else, just to give people an opportunity to experience what I can do at a reduced price over the holidays. Namanakina. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night.